Good evening, everybody. This is Bronson's By Any Means Necessary fantasy basketball talk for Thursday, February 3rd. I'm now home, back from my trip. 5 days in Florida and Georgia and South Carolina for about 10 minutes and Texas for a few hours longer than I anticipated being in Texas. But yeah, I had a really good time in Naples with my friend EJ. It was good to see him. He's a real positive influence for me. I met some great people there in Naples. But after I left EJ, I went to Jacksonville. You guys saw me with my nice view, my nice hotel room. If I hadn't found that deal, I probably wouldn't have stayed in Jacksonville, because Jacksonville's a weird city. I'm not sure what I was expecting. I think I was expecting something different. It's a big, gigantic city, top 12 population cities in the U.S. It's the largest city in land mass in the United States, outside of Alaska. So I was just expecting something else. I don't know. It's just a city with no soul. There's just no. I don't know how to describe it. There's something missing with that city. It's not vibrant at all. The airport is lame. The city is so spread out, so sprawled out. Like, everything's hours away from everything. I mean, unless you have a car, the city's kind of useless. It's not a place that I'm likely going to go back to unless I want to watch a Jaguars game or something. But why in hell would I want to watch a Jaguars game? I guess if the Vikings are in town or something. Savannah. I did go up to Savannah for the day, and I was worried that I was gonna get bored like I did when I went to Duluth. I was up in Duluth all day and I got bored so quick. And so it just wasn't a good experience. But Savannah, I was there for like the perfect amount of time. I got off the bus at like noon, and then had to catch the bus to go back at 7:30 p.m. and I had no shortage of stuff to do. Did not get bored at all. Spent my time well. Did a lot of walking. Got some blisters on my feet. Even walked. I had a hell of a time getting over there, because the big bridge, the cool ass bridge in Savannah, the Talmadge Memorial Bridge, super cool bridge, isn't really made for pedestrians, and I didn't want to risk walking all the way over there, 1.5 miles across that bridge, in a place that you're not really supposed to be walking. So I ended up I had to find another way to get over. Over there I had to go across the river, walk across the island, walk across another bridge just to get over to the South Carolina welcomes you sign to get my picture to say that I was in South Carolina. I was in South Carolina for about 10 minutes, but I'm gonna count it anyways. It counts more. Me doing that, walking into South Carolina like that, counts more than me having a 45-minute layover in San Francisco or something. I can't truly say I've been in San Francisco because I was in the airport for 45 minutes, walking from one gate to another. Didn't really get to do anything. So, but I count both. So I say I've been in South Carolina. I say I've been in San Francisco. Really, technically, I mean, I have, but like, have I really been there? No, but I'm counting it. So 4 states in 5 days. Knocked off another 4 states from my list. Really happy about that. Definitely would go back to Savannah. Definitely back to Naples. Not sure about Jacksonville. If I ever go back to Jacksonville, I'm definitely gonna have a car. Jacksonville is a city that you need a car, and because the buses, even the public transit, even for a big ass city like that, the buses run only like once an hour. So it's like, here in Portland at least, it's every 15 minutes. So it's like a little bit of a wait, but 15 minutes is not terrible. An hour, if I have to wait an hour for a damn bus, and I'm trying to get over to the beaches from downtown, which it's like a 2-hour bus ride out there, and then I have to wait upwards, it could be an hour wait to get on the bus back to downtown. Then I got to go all the way up to the airport, which is another couple of hours. It's like, how do you expect people to really do anything in this town with this public transit system you've got here? So yeah, Jacksonville, weird city. I don't understand how it's so big, so heavily populated when it just, it's like a city that is very, very reluctant to be a city. It just, I don't know, weird. I don't know how to describe Jacksonville, but I understand now why, for being as big of a city as it is, it's not, a destination. It's not a Miami or an Orlando or Tampa. It's not one of the cities you think about, Florida, when you go to visit Florida. And I think it's entirely the city of Jacksonville's fault for being so lame. There's a lot of things they could do to make themselves, a more desirable place. It's not even that bad of a city. It was pretty. It was clean. It was modern. They have some pros about them, definitely, but it's just a weird place. Anyways, this will be the waiver wire video, because I didn't do that yesterday. I was a little indisposed. Yesterday I got delayed in Dallas for over 2 hours. We were trying to beat that tropical storm that Landon was supposed to make landfall around 9 p.m. Central Time. And so our flight was scheduled to leave at like 6:55. And a lot of people, our flight was full because a lot of people who were flying home to Portland or wherever later in the day were able to reschedule their flight free of charge from American Airlines to avoid the weather. So we had a full flight, and we ended up sitting there for 2 hours. Because first, the flight got delayed after we boarded. It was only half hour at that point. So, we're sitting there on the plane, and then when it's time to leave, they tell us they have a minor maintenance problem. So they fix that. It takes a few minutes, and then there's a paperwork problem. So they have to wait for the paperwork on the maintenance, and then we start to leave. We head out to, we taxi out to the runway, and our pilot tells us, oh, we forgot to put de-icer on the plane, so we've got to go back and put de-icer on the plane. At this point, it's been over 2 hours. We're all just freaking pissed, because I'm just like, I don't like tight spaces. I don't like people being up in my space for longer than it has to be. So I've already been sitting here for 2 hours. This plane's not moving, right? So at this point, I want to get off the plane. If we're not going to fucking fly, I want off the plane. I'm tired of sitting in this sardine can and not going anywhere. And so I know I wasn't the only person that was feeling that way, but I was, I turned on some music to calm myself down, because I was starting to get very pissed, and I didn't want to make a scene. And so, because I like flying, I'm not trying to get on anybody's no-fly list. But so eventually we took off. I was supposed to get home at 9:15, ended up getting home at midnight, so ended up having to miss my job at UPS because I was not getting up at 4 a.m. after getting home at midnight. So did make it to my main job, but I've been tired. I'm pretty tired right now. After I filmed this video, I'm probably gonna go to bed. I just got home from work like an hour and a half ago. Not even an hour and a half ago. It's ridiculous. I'm tired. There's no free time. I gotta get a damn car. I'm gonna have to get a third job to pay for the transportation to my second job. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna do that when I already don't have time. So it's like, maybe Saturdays, Sunday, weekend nights, and Mondays I could work. Like, I'm thinking about the movie theater here in town. The movie theater I always go to. That'd be a fun part-time night job on the weekends. But like, I already have enough. You know, it'd be super hard to get time off with 3 jobs, stuff like that. It's a hassle I'd rather not deal with. But anyways, let's get to the waiver wire ads. I spent way more time rambling than I intended to. I always end up doing that. I have 8 waiver wire ads for you this week. These are guys that I'm trying to get new names this week. All new names, no repeat names at all this week. So we're gonna start with PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker's really playing well for the Heat right now. I know he's an older guy, not a whole lot of appeal there, but he's being very productive, even offensively. For the Heat, Jared Vanderbilt for the Timberwolves, getting a lot of rebounds, and he's scoring pretty well. Isaiah Jackson has really come on for the Pacers right now. I know he's currently injured with a twisted ankle or something, so he could be out for a little bit, but it doesn't sound like it's any serious injury. It doesn't sound like it's an extended absence. So as long as Miles Turner is out, and who knows how long that he could be out, that could be his injury could be another season ender like it was last year. Isaiah Jackson is an ownable guy. Nick Claxton of the Nets, as long as LaMarcus Aldridge is out, Nick Claxton will be an ownable. Serge Ibaka, he's now the guy. He's now the starter for the Clippers, and as long as Ivica Zubac is out, he'll be a usable center. Onyeka Okongwu, a young guy with a lot of potential. Atlanta's just got to figure out what they're going to do with John Collins or Clint Capela. Because Okongwu is knocking on the door, and he's not going to be denied anymore. He's ready to play. He's ready to start. He's ready to contribute. The Hawks have quite the embarrassment of depth. They had too many players on the wing. That's why they dealt Cam Reddish. A lot of people think Bogdan could be next. But now they got to figure out if they want to keep John Collins. I didn't think they were. I thought John Collins was going to walk this offseason, but they ended up paying him an awful lot of money for some reason. So now the Hawks kind of like still have him, but they still don't really seem to want him. And Clint Capela is very good, very productive, but he's kind of an old school center. So it'll be interesting to see how long the Hawks decide to keep him around alongside Trae Young, because as productive as he is, he doesn't really seem like he's going to be a long-term fit alongside Trae Young. I think John Collins and Onyeka Okongwu are better fits long-term, but for whatever reason, the Hawks just don't seem to like John Collins. They never really have, and John Collins doesn't really want to be there either. But then, he's re-signed for a lot of money, and they offered him a lot of money. I don't understand the relationship there. But John Collins is always in trade rumors, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Next, a couple of young guards. Davion Mitchell of the Kings for as long as De'Aaron Fox is out, which could be through the trade deadline, because the Kings don't they want to trade him. Davion Mitchell is going to be a useful guard asset. And lastly, Killian Hayes of the Pistons. He's a guy who's getting a lot of production in most categories outside of scoring. He's not really scoring a lot. That's just not what he's known for at this point in his career, and he probably never will be a good, useful scorer, but he could be a Patrick Beverley type of player who can get a lot of things done in other areas of the game and be a long-term starter, even though not a lot of upside, but he could be a long-term starter in this league if he embraces that role. But, obviously that's not what the Pistons drafted him to do. He's definitely a disappointment at this stage, but he's still very young. A lot can change for him over the course of his career. However, this year, right now, not the super useful fantasy asset, but he is useful enough in categories leagues that he's worth taking a look at. So that's my list for you this week. I am either going to go to bed, or I'm going to see if I could talk to Victoria. I haven't talked to her we haven't FaceTimed in a couple of months, actually. It's been a while since I talked to her. It's hard. I'm having trouble making time for her now that I'm not driving and working days again. So I'm gonna try tonight, at least for a few minutes before I go to bed. So peace, love, and nacho fries. Hang loose. Good luck. Best wishes. And thanks for following. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. I know there's not a lot of you, but the ones that do chime in are very supportive and very kind, and I really appreciate that. So good night.